Hey guys, Zack here, and welcome back to another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the SH Figuarts Alien Baltan Shoot the Invader version. Now, this character comes from the 1966 television series Ultraman, which I do really like. I think the ending, is a little bit of a cop-out ending, but for the most part, I do still really like the original Ultraman series, so I definitely recommend that you check it out. Most of it is actually on YouTube, so you don't have to pay for any, streaming services or anything like that. Just, get YouTube, watch it on YouTube, and there you go. So, yeah. More specifically, this character comes from the second episode of Ultraman, which is called, well, Shoot the Invader. And I actually really like that episode. It's different. It's very, the characters, they're kind of, breaking the fourth wall and, kind of, talking to the audience. Which I think is, I think that's the only time they did that in the original series. I could be wrong, but yeah. The original, that original episode of Ultraman, I do like. It's not my favorite. I think my favorite episode would have to be the Monster Prince, two-parter episode with Gomora. I really like that episode, but no, Shoot the Invader, I think is a fun episode as well, so, yeah. And even, really quick before I, just one last thing I want to say. Even, before I got into Ultraman, I remember looking at Baltan and thinking that this guy looked really cool. So, yeah. So, it is cool to have a nice, SH Figuarts figure of him. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's all I have to say. Let's just get into this. Like usual. To start this review, we'll take a look at the paint first, and the painting on this figure, I think, looks very good, so let's take a closer look. So as you can see here for the upper torso, most of the body here is this nice turquoise coloration with a bit of, this very dark shade of blue in between, which I think looks very nice, and we, see, well, it's mostly that dark shade of blue on the back here, but we still have a little bit of, this blue, this brighter bluish coloration for the back of the head here. But as far as, the arms go and, the front of the torso, it's this really nice-looking turquoise color. The hand, claw things, whatever you want to call these are painted very nicely as well. We have a very nice metallic paint job here. And towards the base of the claw hands, we have this very nice shade of brown. A lot of really nice airbrushing here. I do like that. Airbrushing in general, I just think looks really nice on figures. Just that ease, that slow transition to, another color. I just think that looks really cool. And, it's small here, but it still looks cool. And I do like this a lot. So, yeah. Going to the legs here, we have a very interesting looking pattern here. We have a lot of different, browns and grays here, which looks good. And the feet here are painted blue with bits of brown. And the feet here actually kind of remind me of, like an abandoned car or something like that. Where, there's still, a little bit of paint, but, there's, rust. A lot of rust on it. And I think that looks really cool here. I do like that. Now going to the head. We have some metallic silver here with a little black bit right here. Or at least a very dark color here. Looks like, maybe a very dark shade of gray. But mostly black regardless. The eyes here are painted yellow, and similarly to the SH Monster Arts Gigan figures, both of them, the eyes are sculpted, and they're painted yellow on the inside, but they're covered with a clear piece of plastic, and I think that makes the eyes look really nice. It adds a lot of character to the eyes here, and I do like that. And the last thing to point out, this part of the head here, the bottom of it is a nice greenish coloration, and it slowly fades into a more blue coloration. And I think that looks really nice. And that's pretty much it for the painting on this figure. There we go. That's pretty much it for the painting on this figure. And the painting on this figure, I think looks very nice. So the painting here, I'd say definitely gets a pass. Now, we'll take a look at the articulation, and the articulation on this figure is pretty solid, so let's take a closer look at that. So right off the bat, the head can look up and down a little bit. Not a whole lot of movement in the head here, but you can get some up and down movement. You can't really look left to right, very much, a very small amount, but it's nothing, too noteworthy. It's mostly just up and down. So, Yeah, these shoulders can move outwards about that much, and they can move 360. We have a double bend in the elbows here. And the claw hand things can open up like so. The one thing I want to point out is that this one opens more than this one. I don't know if that was done on purpose or if that's just like a weird thing with mine, but yeah, this one opens more than the other one, which is a little weird, but not the end of the world. We have a ball joint at the upper part of the waist here, and another one at the lower part of the waist here. Baltan can kick forward about that much, but he can't really kick back that much. He can do the splits like so. We have a double bend in the knees, and the ankles are on ball joints. And that's pretty much it for the articulation on this figure. Not as much as the SH Figuarts Ultraman, but still, there is still a decent amount of articulation here that I think is really cool. So, let me just stand this guy. Yeah, the articulation on this figure is good. I'd say it gets a pass. As far as accessories go, we get this base, and I'm not gonna lie, I wish we got more. Like, this isn't bad looking by any means, you know, or, hey, you can see me. There's a very glossy stand. You can see a little bit of my setup and me in the background there. But, yeah, you know, I wish we got more than just, you know, the stand. You know, like, no alternate pieces here, no flight stands, nothing, just a stand. And in case you're curious, like right here, it says Shoot the Invader. But, yeah, I wish we got more accessories, especially for the price tag this figure is retailing for. But I'll talk more about that towards the end, you know. And obviously, this is a very reflective piece of plastic, so it's very easy to smudge. So, yeah, do try not to handle it with your greasy sausage fingers. Just kind of handle it with care so it's not as smudged up. Because, like, I tried cleaning it a little bit, but as you can see, there's still some smudge marks there. So just be careful when, you know, handling this thing. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the accessory. It's just one stand. It's a good size, but again, I wish we got more. Now, we'll take a look at the sculpt. And the sculpting on this figure, for the most part, I think looks pretty much perfect. I think this is pretty much one-to-one to how Baltan looked in the second episode of Ultraman. I know there was another episode of Ultraman that featured Baltan, but that Baltan looked different than this one. But, you know, this one, which is, you know, based on the one from the second episode of Ultraman, I think it looks pretty much perfect. One thing I will say, and this isn't a complaint, you know, this is such a very minor thing, but one thing I do want to point out is that the joint here, I think, looks way too thin. It looks a little distracting. I get why entirely, because, like, you have, like, the double bend feature, so I get that, but when you pose it in certain angles, it does look a little weird, like a little too thin, but again, not an issue at all, very minor, and yeah. So, overall, sculpting on this figure, pretty much perfect. I'd say the sculpting here definitely gets a pass. Now, we'll take a look at the detail, and the detailing on this figure, I think, looks very good, so let's take a closer look. So, right off the bat here, the head has a lot of really nice detailing here, like these bits on the face, like this plating here, I think is detailed very nicely, and the detailing here on top of the head looks nice. The eyes actually have a really nice bit of detailing in them as well. And one thing I just want to say really quickly, you know, like I was saying, like, even before I got into Ultraman, I remember thinking Baltan's design looked really cool. But that's something about, like, a lot of Ultraman, like, alien and monster designs in general. Like, they're very outlandish, but, like, I mean that in a good way. They're, like, very, like, creative and, like, they're very distinct and very, like, I don't want to say over the top, but, like, there's more complexity here than something you'd see in something like Godzilla. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Godzilla. That's what I've based half of my channel on for a little bit, but yeah, no, like, I love Godzilla, don't get me wrong, but, like, I don't know, a lot of, like, Ultraman, like, alien and monsters designs, I think are just, like, a lot more unique and interesting than a lot of, like, Godzilla monster designs. So, and Baltan is, one of those examples, in my humble opinion, you know, because, like, the face here, like, I mean, obviously, Alien Baltan, but, like, it does look very alien here, and I do really like this design. But I digress. The torso has a lot of really nice detailing here. You know, like, just a lot of really nice detailing here. Everything is defined very nicely, and his little skirt thing here has a lot of really nice detailing here as well. His claw hands, whatever you want to call these, have a nice bit of detailing here as well. There's going to be nothing on the inside, which is totally fine, because why would there be? And yeah, the back has a lot of really nice detailing as well. Yeah, the back of the skirt here, we have this, like, little, like, bird tail thing, which is, you know, it's interesting. I like that. You know, again, like, this, a lot of, like, Ultraman designs for, like, the monsters and aliens, I think, look, just very unique. And, again, just, I know it's a very minor thing, but, yeah, just Baltan as a whole, I just think looks really cool. I'm sorry, but, yeah. Not a whole lot of detailing in the legs here, but we have a little bit of detailing in the feet here, which looks nice. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the detailing on this figure. And the detailing here, I think, looks very good. So the detailing here, I'd say definitely gets a pass. Now, we'll do some size comparisons. To start, here we have the Bandai Ultra Monster Series Baltan. I actually have quite a few Ultra Monster Series figures. You know, I wasn't going to review them, but if you guys want me to review them, I totally can. Just let me know. Here we have the SH Figuarts Ultraman. Here we have the SH Figuarts Gomora. My two favorite Ultraman monsters and aliens here. Or monster, alien, you get what I'm trying to say. And of course, here we have some hand sanitizer. And here we have Dr. Billy Grant. So at the end of the day, should you get this figure? I'd say yes. You know, I think the painting here looks really nice. The articulation, the sculpt, the detailing, everything about this figure I think looks really nice, and I definitely recommend that you pick this guy up. The one thing I'm not a big fan of is the price tag. This guy, at various different retailers, he goes for about $80, which I think is a little too high, if I'm being honest. The SH Figuarts Ultraman that I brought in for the size comparison in this video, that figure came with a boatload of accessories and only costed like $66. Even the SH Figuarts Shin Ultraman, like, he didn't really come with a lot of accessories, but he was still like $72, which is still not super cheap, but it's not like too expensive either. I think that's an okay asking price. But then you have this guy who, well, he comes with a base, and don't get me wrong, the base is a pretty good size, pause, but I wish we got more. I wish we got alternate pieces. I wish we got a flight stand at the very least, but instead it's just the figure in the base, and yeah, I think it's a little disappointing in that regard. So $80, I'd say this figure is not so much worth it, but I bought this guy from, I think it's called E-Night. So I'll put up like a picture of like the logo, so that way like you guys know like where to get this guy, and he's like slightly cheaper there. I got this guy there for like $70, which is, I still would have preferred a slightly cheaper price tag, but still, it's better than paying $80. So if you do get this guy, get him through E-Night, or again, whatever that website's called. Again, I'll put up the logo on screen, and yeah. So yeah, get this figure, but get him for at least cheaper than $80. So yeah. Anyway, that is it for today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Peace, Zack out.